Have you ever really looked at the pattern on your clothes or maybe the couch and just wondered, how did that get there? It's this pretty amazing journey, right? From just a single idea to a piece of printed fabric you can actually hold. So let's dive in and explore the art of print design, from the very beginning to the final product.
I mean, really think about it. How does an abstract thought, a feeling or a picture in someone's head, transform into that cool floral or geometric pattern on your favorite shirt? Well, that's the designer's journey we're going to unpack right now.
All right, so every single pattern, and I mean every pattern, no matter how simple or complex, starts in the exact same place with that little spark of an idea. This is the starting line, the hunt for inspiration that's going to fuel the entire creative process.
Now, here's the thing. Designers don't just sit around and wait for inspiration to magically strike. Nope, they actively hunt for it. The world of textile design moves so fast, and trends are always changing. So a designer's first job is always research. It's like a creative investigation to gather creative food for what's coming next.
And that inspiration, it can come from literally anywhere. We're talking about flipping through magazines and books, wandering through museums, checking out art galleries and exhibitions, or just getting lost scrolling through websites. Even collecting little swatches of regional fabrics can spark a whole new design. The key is to just constantly be looking and absorbing the world around you.
So once a designer has that initial idea, they've got to turn it into something you can actually see. And to do that, they reach into their fundamental toolkit, the 7 essential building blocks of all design. You can think of these elements kind of like the basic ingredients in a recipe. A designer mixes and matches and arranges these components to create a certain feeling, to build a mood, and to really communicate their idea visually. And here they are. You've got space, line, shape, form, color, value, and texture. Seriously, every single pattern you've ever seen is just some combination of these. For instance, a simple floral print uses line to dry the stem, shape for the petals, and of course, color to bring it all to life. It's how a designer masterfully puts these together that creates the magic. Now, out of all those elements, there's one that has a uniquely powerful impact, and that's color. Color is what makes a design feel alive. The right color choices can make a pattern a huge success, while the wrong ones, well, they can make it fall totally flat, no matter how amazing the drawing was to begin with. So how do designers make those big color decisions? Well, they often turn to a classic tool, the color wheel. This thing is brilliant at showing the relationships between colors. You start with your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Mix those, and boom, you get your secondary colors, like orange, green, and violet. Mix those again, and you get the 6 tertiary colors. Understanding this helps designers build palettes that just work. Color is so critical in the textile industry that there's a whole specialized job just for it. A colorist is an expert whose entire job is to provide color direction. They'll take one pattern and create multiple colorways, basically different color combos, because the right palette can make all the difference in whether or not a design actually sells. Okay, so we've got an idea, we've sketched it out using the elements of design, and we've picked a killer color palette. Now for the real puzzle of textile design. How do you get that one little drawing to cover a whole roll of fabric without any seams? This brings us to 2 super important concepts, layout and repeat. Think of the layout as the big picture strategy. How are the little drawings, the motifs, going to be arranged on the fabric? Is it going to be a structured grid, a free-flowing thing? Then you have the repeat. That's the technical side, the actual execution of duplicating that design so it connects perfectly, with no weird gaps or breaks. And this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Look at that all-over layout. The flowers seem to just flow organically and freely across the whole surface. But then you see the patchwork layout, and it's much more structured, almost like it's locked into a grid. It's the same basic idea, cover the fabric, but they give off 2 completely different vibes. And those are just a couple of examples. Designers have so many options, like a tossed layout where motifs look like they're just scattered randomly, or a border layout for the edges of a fabric. There's even a scenic layout that can tell a whole story across the cloth. The layout you choose completely changes the final look. Now for the technical magic, the repeat. The whole goal here is to engineer a pattern that can be printed endlessly for hundreds of meters of fabric without anyone ever seeing the seams. It has to look like one continuous, uninterrupted design. It's a total illusion. And to pull off that seamless trick, designers use different repeat techniques.
A square repeat is a most basic, just like tiles on a floor. But something like a half-drop repeat staggers the pattern, kind of like bricks in a wall, which does a much better job of hiding where the repeat happens. There are also mirror repeats, brick repeats. Each one is a technical solution to this artistic puzzle.
So we've gone from a tiny spark of an idea all the way to a technical blueprint that's ready to be printed. Let's just quickly run through that incredible creative journey one more time. It really all boils down to these 4 key stages. First, the designer finds inspiration through tons of research. Second, they bring that idea to life by sketching with those 7 core elements of design. Third, they pick a powerful color palette to create just the right mood. And finally, they engineer the pattern's layout and repeat to create that perfect, seamless flow.
So the next time you look at a printed fabric, you'll know the incredible amount of thought and skill that went into it. You'll be able to spot the layout, you'll see the color choices, and the clever repeat that's holding it all together. Now that you know the blueprint, what patterns are you going to see differently today?